Let's be absolutely clear about something. The old era of passive health tracking, it's over. The market has hit a critical inflection point, and the changes on the horizon aren't just incremental tweaks, they are fundamental. For the better part of a decade, we've all been diligently collecting our data, our steps, our sleep scores, our heart rate. We've been compiling this huge digital history of our health. But here's the hard truth. Collecting data without a clear path to action has turned out to be a failed experiment. And that is why a major pivot is happening right now. This marks the huge paradigm shift from what we knew as passive tracking to what's now being called Agentic Health. Your wearable is no longer just a digital diary, a history book of your past. It's evolving into an autonomous partner that doesn't just show you what happened, it tells you exactly what to do next. That is the core concept of this revolution. And in this explainer, we're going to break down the 5 tectonic shifts that are completely redefining this industry, everything from technology and regulation all the way to corporate strategy. And let's get right to the financial stakes because they are enormous. The projected market value of AI-driven healthcare is expected to surge to nearly $188 billion by 2030. The capital is flowing, and the technology is accelerating at a breakneck pace. So, our first major shift is the rise of agentic AI. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not about some simple chatbot that just summarizes your weekly data. We are talking about highly sophisticated, on-device models that truly understand your context, your history, and your personal goals to drive autonomous action. And this isn't some far-off concept. The biggest players in technology are already deploying this. Take Google's Fitbit. It's building adaptive training plans that literally rewrite themselves in real time based on your stress and recovery data. Meanwhile, Apple is using its new intelligence platform to create a workout companion that gives you spoken, biometric-driven motivation right in the middle of a session. It's here. Okay, so this creates a really significant challenge, one that's both technical and ethical. How do you make these agents work in real time without sending your most sensitive biometric data to the cloud? Well, the answer is a hard pivot to edge AI, processing that data directly on your device. And let me tell you, this isn't just about speed, it's a privacy mandate. Now for our second shift, and this is where it all starts to build. That clear line that used to separate a consumer wellness gadget from a medical-grade device, it's effectively vanished. The hardware you can buy today is now capable of detecting chronic conditions that used to require a visit to a clinical setting. And the real-world examples are already hitting the market. Samsung's brain health features can analyze your gait, your speech patterns, even your smart home interactions to flag early signs of cognitive decline. At the same time, Apple has secured actual FDA clearance for a feature that uses optical sensors over a 30-day window to identify patterns that suggest chronic high blood pressure. That is a world away from a single spot check in a doctor's office. But this creates a profound strategic risk, something we're calling the discernment gap. Just think about it for a second. What happens when a consumer device gives you a potential disease alert, like an early warning for dementia? The psychological impact and the liability questions are immense. We are entering a new era where insurance protocols have to adapt to a wave of these alerts that fall just short of an official diagnosis. Our third shift tackles a core failure of the first wave of wearables: user abandonment. We all have that drawer full of old trackers we stopped using, right? Well, the industry's solution is low-friction prevention, embedding powerful sensors into everyday objects to make data collection completely seamless and automatic. You can see this happening at the hardware level. Platforms like Sensora are developing non-invasive optical glucose monitoring, no needles. You have products like Orphe's smart insoles that put a clinical-grade gait lab right into your shoes. By making the interface invisible, companies are solving that adherence problem, and, just as important, creating continuous data streams that are invaluable for research. All right, our fourth shift is a surprising one. Regulatory bodies, which are so often seen as a barrier to innovation, are now actually acting as a stimulus. They are actively creating pathways to accelerate the deployment of preventative health tech. The key mechanism here is the FDA's new guidance, which exercises something called enforcement discretion for low-risk wellness products. This is a very strategic decision to flood the market with preventative technology by essentially reclassifying what certain devices can do. So this policy allows technologies like optical blood pressure estimation to be categorized as wellness rather than medical. It prioritizes broad data access over absolute diagnostic rigidity. The goal is simple: get more preventative data into the ecosystem and get it there faster. This leads us directly to the corporate angle. McKinsey estimates that the potential global economic value from simply enhancing employee health could reach a staggering $11.7 trillion. This is not a niche benefit, this is a macroeconomic event. And that brings us to our final shift. Digital health is no longer a consumer luxury. It has become an essential corporate performance and risk management tool, especially at the leadership level. We are seeing C-suite executives adopt longevity protocols and biohacking, not just for their personal wellness, but as a direct strategy to prevent burnout, to enhance cognitive performance, and to ensure leadership continuity. This is all about a direct, measurable return on investment. But these 5 tectonic shifts, they don't come without a cost. They all converge on a central critical trade-off, the line between support and surveillance. And this tension is coming to a head right now in the corporate world. This captures the fundamental conflict. Is using biometric data to optimize schedules and reduce insurance premiums a form of support? Or does it cross the line into surveillance when an employee's sleep and stress data become just another key performance indicator? This is going to be a major area of legal and ethical friction moving forward. And now, a necessary disclaimer. The information presented here is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. The digital health sector is highly volatile and is subject to rapid regulatory shifts. You absolutely must perform your own due diligence. So this brings us to the final defining question of the agentic health era we've just outlined. This technology gives us the power to use our personal data to optimize our health in ways that were never before possible. But as we delegate more and more control to these autonomous systems, we have to ask a very serious question. Who truly owns the outcome?